Welcome to the Your Talent Matters podcast, where we delve into the world of human resources and employee benefits in Canada. Join hosts Mehdi Rahman, a strategic human resources consultant, and Nick Godfrey, a seasoned employee benefits advisor, as they explore the many challenges that businesses face in attracting, developing, and engaging top talent. So sit back, relax, and learn from the experts on how your talent matters when it comes to growing a business.
Hi, it's Nick Godfrey here, and I'm very happy to have my partner in crime, Mehdi Rahman, along today, where we're going to do the wrap-up for 2023. We haven't been around for a little while. We've both been kind of busy. So we're really happy to be here today, and we're going to talk about, hey, what's going to happen in 2024? And Mehdi, we're going to lead off with, we did talk about the talent wars, and are they still fighting it out there? What's going on out there?
Yeah, the talent wars, my observation and, looking across my portfolio of businesses, there is definitely a talent war. It's different than what it was before. Before there was a shortage of bodies and people. But now we're seeing, there are some major layoffs, some changes that are happening in the economy. People are still continuing to shift. The talent war continues, not so much for bodies, we used to call it seats and bums, or bums and seats. But it's more about the competency and the skill level. And we're seeing that organizations are continuing to really need talented, committed folks. And when I say talented, you're looking for competency. Whether you're a small business that's service-based, you're looking for people that are, high energy and great in the hospitality. We're seeing shortages in that talent, in the competency of that. And then, if you're in professional services, we're seeing, still shortages of, great team players that have good competencies, or soft skills and, technical skills. And so it's tough. It's tough to be a leader, to find the right talent, put them in the right place at the right time. And then if whether you're a job seeker, it's tough separating yourself from all the other folks that are out there. So I would say that the talent war continues, just in a different context, in a different way.
It's interesting that you say that, because people have been asking me, what do you see going on out there? And I've told them, that with the kind of companies that I deal with, they're maybe 10 to 30 employees. It's pretty well business as usual. But I do know that there have been some layoffs at RBC Insurance, for example, and that you just kind of get the feeling that the larger companies are seeing something in the horizon, down the horizon, that maybe we're not seeing yet, kind of down in the smaller business to business community. So
yeah, a lot of organizations, you talked about the banks do their financial analysis and year ends partway through the year, and so there's a trickle effect from that. Those folks that are leaving those organizations. We had a lot of folks in the tech industry, or the tech industry, doing a lot of layoffs as well. So people are shifting, and I believe that people are looking at their costs as they go into 2024 and saying, I gotta, personally, in my personal household, I gotta watch how I spend my money. And some of the other goods that I may have been very comfortable buying, or services I was comfortable paying for, I might need to look at and say, I can't do that. So as a business person, we're preparing for 2024 that it'll be a tough profitable year, if you're going for profit, or costs will continue to increase, and so it'll eat away at margins. So I need to look at my costs. What am I spending, and am I getting the best value for what I'm spending? So if you have your labor line and you're looking at people, am I getting the best value, the best person doing the job in the right place at the right time? And then how am I then, am I getting the best value for, all the expenses that I have associated to my people and my organization? So, there's a lot of opportunity there. And this is where I would ask you, how how can an organization, like, if they have a specific cost, like, benefits or total rewards, how are businesses, how would you recommend they go out about 2024, as they look at their benefits? Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, one of the things I've been doing, and it's been around for a while, so it's not new, but it's actually been the employers coming to me saying, um, how can I sweeten my benefits package so that I can attract and keep the talent that I've got? So
Yeah.
it's actually more than attract. I mean, if you've got a benefit plan, that's kind of a given. You need to do that these days. Not having one is just not going to work for you if you want to attract talent. But hanging on to what you have and then rewarding them accordingly. So one of the things we can do in benefits plan, it says create different classes of employees. And one model is to say, hey, the longer you stay here, the more you get. and that's one way of doing it. And we move people up through that, up the ladder that way. For if you're here for, from day 1 to 2 years, you get this, but then as soon as you go through that 2-year threshold, you get more money, or you get a better level of benefit. That's one way to do that. And then the other one is to just, treat the people differently, and they do, is management gets more because they started off, as an hourly employee, and they work their way through, and you don't want to lose those people. So as they move up into the hierarchy and into management, you again, you give them a better benefit plan. Say, rather than 80% dental coverage, they get maybe 90% dental coverage, or rather than getting only $1,000 a year of dental protection, they get maybe 1,500. Or you include, with one of the organizations, we wanted to put in orthodontics for the teenage children. So
Yeah.
so there are different ways of doing it, and I think there are a lot of organizations out there who just put oh, we got benefits, one size fits all. And you kind of go, there's more you can do, and only increase the cost nominally. So
Yeah, what I'm hearing you saying, what I'm taking away from that as like an HR lead or even a business person, is that I got to know my people, like my customers, like my people. And so if I have, 20 employees, 100 employees, 1,000, or 10,000 employees, knowing my demographics and then knowing what's important to them, and then starting to flex whatever expenses that you have to meet the needs of your population. That's what I'm hearing you say. So there's a little bit of a pre-step, it sounds like, of just knowing who you're trying to serve.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's another thing, because it's pretty fresh in my mind, is we did a webinar for one of our clients yesterday, and the Manulife rep came out, and we just simply explained to the employees what the plan was and how it worked, and answered some of their questions. And there were lots of questions. And now all of a sudden the employer looks great, because they're now educating the people, and the employees are getting this, the value that they should be getting. And
Yeah.
they're also learning some of the nuances in the plan that, people read the benefits booklet, but it's pretty dry. So when you have a webinar and you start to go through it and go, oh, well, here's the new app and here's how it works, and people,
Yeah.
they just add. It's a really easy way to add value. So
Absolutely. You reminding me of so many different things that we've done in the past around organizations where we can't spend any more money. We can't, like, bring in, new benefits or anything like that, but we are getting more value out of the benefits that we currently have, and it's through education. So, like, I know, like in one of my organizations, we're going to do like a financial planner coming in during the tax season and helping, employees understand their financial health. Based on our demographics, there's a lot of people that have never thought about it that way. So, like, educating them on that. I know that we also get our benefits reps to come in once a year to, like, just tell us about our benefits. And then we order pizza, and, everybody learns about it at the same time. And again, it's not spending any more money, but it's getting value out of the benefits that we do currently have. And I know that the utilization goes up, and therefore people are seeing value. So I love that best practice, and I'm glad that you guys were doing that for one of your clients. That your client was aware enough to be able to do that as well.
Well, it's one of the things I like to be able to do. I think I provide excellent service. I mean, I'm told I do, which is always nice. And yeah, they called me a superstar, which I thought was pretty nice.
That's sweet.
I don't get called that very often, so that's
I
good.
love it. I love it. Did you get a
Yeah,
gold
yeah.
star?
I should get a gold star. I'll ask them. So,
And
yeah.
then, so I mean, out of all your other clients, do you sense any sort of nervousness about the upcoming year?
I don't really,
That's good.
I'm not hearing much. I got asked, one of the questions I get asked about, is what's going on with, our healthcare system. People are kind of worried about that. I know in our own family, we had our healthcare crisis with our son, which we were able to sort out. But, people are concerned about the level of, um, service they're getting from Ontario Hospital Insurance Plan. And it's good if it's critical, but there are some issues about, if waiting lists. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a topic for another day, but people are concerned as we age and we get our
Yeah.
ailments as to how quickly am I going to get treatment. So
Yeah.
and we can build that into a benefit plan as well. So
Cool. And you're also, some of the other trends that I'm seeing into 2024 is thinking about our demographics of our employees. A lot of employees, and I wouldn't say the majority, but there's a good population of employees that your core either leaders or core individual contributors that are having stressors that are coming in from both ways. One is that they have like elder care that they need to take care of, like
Yeah.
they're getting, like an aging parent or someone in their household or someone, near. And then childcare. And both are things that as employers we also need to consider, what's going on with our folks, and an easy opportunity for leaders and organizations to meet the needs of their people by not spending any extra money, but being empathetic to those kind of situations. I'm seeing that in 2024 and beyond, as the population continues to age, the workforce continues to age. um there are some tips that we've been employing, but have you seen that trend also? And how are organizations
Yeah, so
look?
the big one that hits home in this household is post-COVID issues as it relates to teens and
Yeah,
mental health. And I think we're only starting to experience some of this. I mean, we'd like to think we're in the post-COVID area, but I mean, I had COVID a couple of weeks ago, but it's not the one that kills you anymore. But the problem is that all the socialization that these teenagers should have been doing um, through the COVID period, they didn't. And so
yeah,
now 2 years later or more, what are the relationships? What's going on socially? And I'm seeing this in our household. And I think, people are going to be studying this for a long time. And
yeah.
and what are some of the things we should be doing to help our teens and young people, um, you know, come through this post-COVID,
Yeah, so I wouldn't think that this is just a youth issue. This is an issue across the board. Organizations have been communities, right? Companies have been communities, whether you're small, medium, or large, and people want to work with other people, right? For the most part, there's some sort, like they may be annoyed with people, their coworkers, but like there is some level of relationship, and that is, people do things for emotional reasons. And so communities are very, very important. And again, so this is not just a young people thing. I think organizations have to continue to think about their hybrid work model, how to create socialization, how to create points of contact. Before, we would have a water cooler that we could congregate around. We're not doing that anymore, and people are suffering. They're hurting, and they're suffering alone. And so, one of the items as a business person is, and if I'm already paying for it, is employee assistance programs or employee family assistance programs, that you're already paying for.
Yes.
And it's doing what you said earlier, having a lunch and learn, or like a digital review with all your employees around the employee assistance program, making that number available, tacking it on to messaging, especially during the holiday season where people are alone at times, or away from their families. And so making sure that people have access to people to talk to is important as well. So I would see like mental health as a growing concern for every single either HR professional, business professional, for their teams, and making sure that they keep that number in their phone, and that if they feel or see that their team's suffering, sending them that note and saying, hey, like, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not trained for this, but I care about you. Here's a number, if you want, you can call it, it's confidential, and you get access to really great people, right? So that's a value that I would totally exploit in 2024 as an organization.
Well, it's interesting because you've hit on it's the delivery of the information and the service as well. Because, excuse me, pre-COVID, I would let the HR people know, oh, here's a poster, put it up in the lunchroom. And the feedback from that was great. We didn't know about that, or yes, I did use it. And some people will actually say I used it and it was great. They are, just to caution people, it's not like full-time psychological services, but you'll get a start. You'll get 4 to 6 sessions depending on the provider, and it is a great service. And it's not just for the employee, but it's whatever's bugging the employee, and it could be a problem with the child, or it could be husband, or it could be money, it could be any number of things.
It could be even work. It could be like my boss,
my boss, somebody above, somebody below. Yes, they're all encompassing and they're great. But the issue right now is that, as you hit on, is that, with hybrid work, is like, how do we get the information into their hands? And one of the things I really hit on with, or at least stressed yesterday in the webinar, was make sure you spend some time on the portal of your supplier, like if it's Manulife or whoever you're working with, because in that portal, there's not just, I have this much left in my dental, and these are the claims I made, but they'll have, all these other resources that you can tap into, because we can't put the posters up in the lunchroom anymore, because they're not going to the lunchroom, right? So yes, we need to deliver these digitally better and more.
One of the best practices I loved, what I experienced was, during orientation, or during management meetings with employees, you'd have a leader pull out their phone and, number one, add the contact for EAP benefits, all that stuff. So they'd create like the digital contact on your cell, and then they would text it to their people during the call, right? Yes. And they would, or orientation, and say, here, like, here's a QR code or whatever. Download this number. You may not need it today, but one day you will. And when you do, I want you to use it freely, right? So yeah, there are, there's a lot of great practices around socializing this and making sure people have access to it.
One of the things we're seeing, and it's a product available through the organization that I'm affiliated with, is something called Collage, and it's a human resources information system. They call them HRISs. And if organizations have the budget, and they're not very expensive, is that they can create these portals, and people can go and see their benefits and their days off and all these sorts of things, and then they can actually dive deeper into the benefit plan as well. And so it's like one-stop shopping. You can get in there and figure everything out. And,
but we already have access to our portals, so let's maximize on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2024 looks, like, I think we, as a business person, we hope, and expect the best, but plan for the worst. And planning for the worst, I think, is just, making sure financially that we are sharpening our pencils, as they say, making sure whatever costs that we are incurring, we're getting the best value out of it. And I love this time of the year, number one, because it's the holiday season, but then number two, it gives me a chance to think about 2024. What do I want to achieve? How do I go about it? If there's one behavior I could do differently, what would that be as a leader? If I'm a leader of enterprise, what could I, commit to doing for my enterprise? If I'm a leader of others, how can I serve my other leaders so that they can serve their people? And then if I'm an individual contributor, just planning to maybe do more with less, and just, hold the fort and stay steady through the year. Because we will see ripples for sure. But organizations will and people will rise up and do amazing things with the circumstance.
Well, it's interesting that when you bring it down to the one person, is like, I've been doing that. My wife and I have been talking about, okay, where's the money going? Where are we spending it? So I've created a spreadsheet, because, one thing that gets away on you is all those streaming channels. So you go, how much am I spending here? And what's everything costing and what's going on?
And business people got to do the same thing with their organization. Be like, hey, what were we spending money on? So
yeah,
every penny is going to count in 2024.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Well, happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to new topics. We're going to bring in a bunch of guests, talk about their specialties, and how we could learn from them and, be better, either business people, better employees, or better HR folks.
And if you've got some ideas out there in podcast land, let us know and we'll make it happen.
Cool. And I think you're supposed to subscribe down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll figure it out. Hit the bell, do the subscribe, the whole thing. So yeah, it'll be on the podcast platform and it'll be on YouTube. So they'll find us. It works.
It works.
Thanks, Mitty.
Thanks.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Your Talent Matters podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with others. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with your hosts, you can visit their website, yourtalentmatters.ca. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.